How to paint big, fluffy clouds. The materials I'm using for today are an Artifacts extra fine cotton panel, Rublev oil paint in ultramarine blue and titanium white, Gamblin oil paint in yellow ochre, and Michael Harding's burnt umber for the stain on the canvas. You can substitute any of these paints with different brands, but I recommend using the same colors. And if you're not an oil painter but you want to follow this tutorial with acrylics, I just recommend mixing in a slow dry medium into your acrylic paint. This will help make sure that you can follow a lot of the same steps that involve blending on the surface with a fluffy brush and more. Our first step is to stain our surface using a diluted version of our burnt umber paint. I only filmed these first couple steps vertically, so bear with me as we go through them. We start by mixing ultramarine blue and titanium white to make a sky color. Using that sky color, we can carve out the shape of our clouds by painting in the patches of blue sky in the background and underneath, which should leave us here. Using that same sky color mixed in with a little bit more titanium white, we can start carving out our cloud shadows. Your cloud shadows should never be darker than the sky color in the background. If you make your cloud shadows darker than the sky color, they might start looking a lot like storm clouds. When we're shading our clouds, we're thinking about the direction of the sun. Depending on which direction the sun is shining, that will show us where our shadows need to go, the opposite side of wherever that light is coming from. When shading your clouds, think of shading a sphere. Imagine each little puff on the cloud is its own sphere, shaded with a sort of crescent-shaped shadow wrapping around that puffy sphere-like shape. If it's hard for you to paint these from memory, which it is for anyone who hasn't done it before, I recommend using a reference image of some sort. This is really going to help you understand the form of the clouds that you in particular are deciding to paint. There might be shadows in areas that you wouldn't think to put them, and having a reference image will really help you reach another level of realism. Something I pay attention to when I'm putting in my shadow colors is to blend the darkest parts of the shadows into the sky itself. As a general rule when painting anything, it looks most realistic when you have the softest edges between the shadows and the background, and the hardest edges between the highlights and the background. For our highlights, I'm going to go in with pure titanium white and fill in all of the areas that we left that background color. As I'm doing this, I'm making sure to leave just a tiny little bit of that background color showing through. This will help make sure that we don't have too much muddiness when we go in and blend later. For all of my blending with clouds, I like to use what's called a fluffy brush or a mop brush. These can be found in the watercolor brush section, or you can even just use a makeup brush for this. When using this to blend, we want to gently rub the fluffy brush's bristles in a circle on the surface of your paint. It's important to remember to pull your brush away and gently rub it in circles on a paper towel or a microfiber rag. This will clear the bristles of any paint that they've picked up from other areas, so that way you're only blending the colors that are directly below your brush. Once everything's looking blended and blurry, we can go back in with a smaller brush and start painting in more detailed cloud shadows and highlights. I'm going to be most focused on the transition in between these shadows and highlights. I want to be a little bit more detailed and accurate about where I'm adding in these puffy cloud shapes. I'm thinking to myself about where the sun is going to be bouncing off parts of the cloud that protrude a little bit more than the others, and I'm thinking about shadows that are going to be cast by those same fluffier points that protrude in front of other areas in the clouds. If this part of the painting process makes you feel confused and a little bit lost, please take a look at your reference image. Reference images are not a crux, they're a tool, and the more often you paint directly from a reference image, the easier it will be for you to paint from memory the next time. One of my favorite tricks for making things look 3D is wrapping a little bit of that highlight color around the far edge of a shadow shape. It's a good way to drag that transition from highlight to shadow around a form and emphasize the fact that the object that you're painting is closer to the viewer than the background is. As soon as I've added details to most of the areas in my clouds, I go back in with a fluffy brush. Periodically going in with a fluffy brush is going to help us make sure that we're keeping most of our cloud edges soft. We want to save those hardest edges for the points of the clouds that the sunlight is bouncing directly off of. And in the areas where there's the least amount of sunlight and the clouds look like they're almost the same color as the sky, You want to really emphasize the fact that there's not a hard edge there. Once my highlights and shadows are feeling pretty good, I start focusing on emphasizing the rays of sunlight peeking through the clouds. There are no God rays in my reference image, so I'm kind of having to figure this out on my own using my knowledge of light and shadow, but I start by using a very stark white color in this little crevice of the clouds, as if the sun itself is peeking right up above them. I'm creating a sort of hazy glowing effect like you get when you're looking right at the sun. And then I pack in some titanium white paint mixed with just a tiny little bit of yellow ochre. Toning your white with just a little bit of yellow helps make it pop even more than pure white will. And with that, we've finished our painting. Clouds are easily my favorite thing to paint, and I hope to become your favorite thing to paint too. If you want to say in what tutorials I do next, go ahead and subscribe to my Patreon. It's only $1 a month. See you guys at the next tutorial.